What if the most important moment in your life was never about the moment itself? What if it was the way it was edited? Because somewhere inside every memory, there is a projector. Not the memory itself, not the event, not the people. The projector, the thing that decides how the story is shown, the thing that determines whether a scene becomes a wound, or wisdom, or a prison, or a passageway. And perhaps, as you listen, you may begin noticing that some stories are not waiting to be erased. They are simply waiting to be edited. There once was an old woman named Lydia who lived at the edge of a forgotten town. The town itself wasn't unusual. People worked, people laughed, people worried, people aged. Yet there was one strange thing about the town. Whenever someone carried a burden they could not seem to release, whenever a painful memory followed them for years, whenever they found themselves trapped inside the same emotional loop, they eventually found their way to Lydia's workshop. The building sat alone beneath the towering oak tree. No sign, no advertisements, just an old wooden door and a single brass plaque. It read, "The Projection Room." Most people assumed it was an antique repair shop until they stepped inside, because there, occupying nearly the entire room, was the largest film projector anyone had ever seen. Its brass wheels gleamed softly. Its reels stretched from floor to ceiling. Thousands upon thousands of film canisters lined the walls. And somehow, the machine seemed alive. Not magical, not supernatural, just aware. As though it understood stories, as though it understood people, as though it had been quietly watching human beings for a very long time. One autumn afternoon, a man named Owen arrived. He was exhausted, not physically, emotionally. The kind of tiredness that sleep never seems to touch. The kind that comes from carrying old meanings, old conclusions, old interpretations. For years, he had been replaying certain memories: a failed marriage, a business collapse, a friendship that ended without explanation, a childhood full of criticism. The events themselves had happened decades ago, yet somehow they were still happening, every day inside his mind. Because every morning the projector of memories started running again. Same scenes, same interpretations, same emotional soundtrack, same conclusion, and every viewing seemed to strengthen the story. Lydia welcomed him, then pointed toward an enormous projector. "Tell me," she said, "do you believe memories are fixed?" Owen nodded. "Of course," Lydia smiled. "Then you've confused the film," she paused, "with the projection." The statement made no sense, at least not yet. She led him toward one of the reels. The film strip stretched endlessly. Tiny images captured frame by frame, moments from his life. Not perfect recordings, interpretations, representations, pieces, fragments, selections, because that is what memory often is. Not reality, a reconstruction, an internal movie. Lydia touched one frame. Immediately a scene appeared upon a screen. Owen was 10 years old, standing in the kitchen, his father criticizing him, again. The familiar ache flooded his chest, the same emotion he had carried for decades, the same meaning: I'm not good enough. The projector hummed, the scene continued, again and again and again, like it always had. Lydia stopped the machine. Interesting? What? Owen asked. You've been watching the same edit for 40 years. She removed the film, placed it upon an editing table, then handed him a magnifying lens. Look closely. He did, and something surprised him. The film wasn't continuous. It had cuts, jumps, missing sections, entire moments absent. His father criticizing him was there, but other frames existed too. Frames he had never noticed, frames his mind had edited out. A moment before the criticism, his father arriving home exhausted, a worried expression, bills in his hands, fear in his eyes, stress, pressure, helplessness, humanity. Lydia nodded. The event didn't change. The frame around it did. And then she introduced him to something called reframing. Though she had never used it like a technique, she used it like an art, like editing, like storytelling, like wisdom. You see, she explained, most people think they suffer from memories. They don't. They suffer from meanings. She carefully cut the film, not removing the event, not deleting the criticism, just changing where the scene began, changing where it ended, changing what surrounded it, changing the context. And suddenly, the entire emotional experience shifted, not because the past changed, but because the frame changed. The projector started again. Same father, same words, same kitchen. Yet something felt different. Now Owen could see his father beneath the criticism, pain beneath the anger, a frightened man trying desperately not to fail his family. The scene no longer felt like proof of inadequacy. It felt like evidence of inherited pain. And with that realization, something loosened. Lydia smiled. Meaning is the lens. Change the lens, and the picture changes. Over the following weeks, Owen returned repeatedly, each visit revealing another editing room hidden inside the projector. The room was called the Room of Deleted Scenes. Here, Lydia showed him something extraordinary. Every painful memory contained information that had been deleted. Successes, resources, strengths, support, growth. The mind often zooms in on pain while deleting resilience. Like an editor accidentally removing half the story, Owen examined memory after memory, and everywhere he looked, deleted scenes appeared. Moments of courage, moments of survival, moments of learning, moments where he had already overcome far more than he realized. The projector brightened. Another room was called the Soundtrack Room. Lydia explained that every memory carries music, not literal music, emotional music, tone, meaning, interpretation, internal dialogue, the soundtrack beneath experience. She showed him one memory: failure, loss, embarrassment. The soundtrack sounded like, "You'll never recover. You'll ruin everything. You're not enough." Then she adjusted the audio, not denying reality, simply altering the perspective. Now the soundtrack became, "You survived, you learned, you adapted, you kept going." The image remained identical, yet the emotional experience transformed completely. People think pictures create feelings, Lydia said. Often it is the soundtrack. Another room contained thousands of editing tables. This room fascinated Owen the most, because every table represented a different NLP principle. though Lydia rarely called them that. She simply called them waves of scene. One table adjusted distance. Painful memories projected huge across the screen, overwhelming, dominating. But when the image moved farther away, the emotional intensity softened. Perspective changed. Another table adjusted brightness. Some memories had become unnaturally dark, not because life was dark, but because attention had dimmed everything else. By restoring balance, new information appeared. Another table altered focus. People often focused exclusively on what hurt, rarely on what was learned, rarely on who they became after, rarely on the strength developed through change. And everywhere Owen looked, people were editing, not reality, meaning. Months passed, the projector continued teaching, frame by frame, scene by scene, memory by memory. One evening, Lydia showed him the oldest reel in the building, the reel few people ever requested, the reel labeled Identity. "This is the film that creates most suffering," she spoke softly, because eventually people stopped saying, "I experienced failure," and began saying, "I am a failure." The projector illuminated thousands of scenes, moments collected across decades, mistakes, rejections, embarrassments, losses, all carefully spliced together into one giant story, a story called Who I Am. Lydia gently removed several sections, not the painful events, the conclusions, the meanings, the interpretations, the labels. Then she began splicing new sections between old sections. Moments of kindness, persistence, humor, courage, compassion, growth, love, resilience. Owen watched in amazement because he realized something profound. Identity itself was an edit, a story, a sequence, a collection of selected sections arranged into meanings. And suddenly he understood. For years he assumed life had happened first, and meaning followed, but often meaning came first, then filtered experience after. The projector hummed louder, warmer, brighter, as though approving. Years later, Lydia grew very old. The town knew her time was near. People gathered at the workshop, former visitors, former sufferers, former prisoners of old stories, now carrying lighter hearts. On her final evening, Lydia invited everyone into the projection room. The great machine glowed softly, its reels turning slowly, patiently, endlessly. She spoke only once. "Never try to erase your film." The room became silent. Every scene belongs. Every frame matters. The goal was never deletion. The goal was understanding. She looked toward the projector, then toward the people, then smiled. "Become a better editor." Those were her final words. After she passed, the workshop remained. The projector continued operating. Some said on quiet nights its reel still turned, still cutting, still splicing, still helping people discover new meanings hidden inside old stories. And perhaps as you listen now, you may wonder about certain scenes from your own life, scenes you watched the same way for years, moments you projected upon the screen of your own mind countless times, moments carrying old memories, old conclusions, old emotional soundtracks. And maybe, without forcing anything, without needing to figure it all out, you can simply become curious about what other frames existed, what deleted scenes remain unseen, what different soundtracks might fit, what larger context surrounds the moment. Because perhaps the projector inside you has never been broken. Perhaps it has only been showing one version of the film, one edit, one arrangement, one interpretation. And somewhere within the quiet wisdom of your unconscious mind, a master editor may already be awakening, gently, patiently, skillfully, cutting old conclusions, splicing new understandings, reframing old experiences, transforming meanings, frame by frame, scene by scene, until one day you look back at your life and realize the story was never about what happened. It was about what became possible when you finally learned how to edit the light. Hypnotic Induction, the editing room of the mind. And now, the film has ended, the credits have faded, the projector has gone quiet, and yet, somewhere deep inside, another projector continues to hum softly. A projector that belongs only to you. A projector made of memory, imagination, awareness, and possibility. So for the next little while, there is nowhere you need to go, nothing you need to figure out, nothing you need to force. Because your unconscious mind already knows how to learn from stories. It has been doing it your whole entire life. Learning from symbols, learning from metaphors, learning from moments that seem simple, yet somehow linger long after they end. And perhaps, as you settle a little deeper into this moment, you can begin noticing your breathing. Not changing it, not controlling it, simply noticing it. The gentle rise, the gentle fall, like the turning of an old reel, round and round, round and round. Each breath becoming another revolution, each revolution carrying you deeper inward. And perhaps you can imagine, or maybe simply sense, that somewhere inside your mind there exists an old projection room, a private place, a safe place, a place where stories are viewed and understood, a place where meaning is created, a place where new perspectives quietly emerge. And as you imagine that room, you may notice a comfortable chair waiting for you. The perfect chair. Exactly the right size. Exactly the right shape. Inviting you to sit. Inviting you to rest. Inviting you to simply let go. And as you settle into that chair, you notice the room is warm, not hot, not cold, just perfectly comfortable. The kind of comfort that allows the body to stop working so hard. The kind of comfort that allows the mind to drift. And as you drift, you become aware of the gentle hum of the old projector. Soft, rhythmic, steady, like breathing, like waves, like a heartbeat. The sound itself becoming soothing, the sound itself becoming calming, the sound itself becoming a signal that is safe to relax, safe to release, safe to simply be. And with each breath, you may notice your body beginning to soften, perhaps your forehead relaxing, the tiny muscles around your eyes letting go, the jaw loosening, the neck releasing tension, the shoulders sinking, arms growing heavier, hands becoming comfortably relaxed, breathing slower, smoother, easier, as though every exhale allows unnecessary tension to drain away, and every inhale brings a quiet sense of ease. And perhaps there are thoughts drifting through your awareness. That's perfectly fine. Thoughts can drift. Thoughts can move. Thoughts can come and go, like scenes passing across the screen. You don't need to stop them. You don't need to chase them. You don't need to understand them. Simply allow them to pass, frame by frame, moment by moment, just watching, just observing. And the more you observe, the more relaxed you become. And the more relaxed you become, the easier it is to observe. A beautiful loop, a comfortable loop, a natural loop, drawing you deeper and deeper into the quiet editing room of the mind. Now imagine the projector begins showing a blank screen. Nothing on it, just soft white light, gentle, warm, comforting. The light itself seems peaceful, as though the light contains possibility, as though this light exists before any story, before any interpretation, before any judgment, just pure awareness, pure presence, pure potential. And as you gaze upon that light, you may begin realizing something. Every story begins with light. Every memory begins with light. Every experience begins with light. And what we often call reality is simply light passing through our meaning. Light passing through perception. Light passing through the lens of the mind. And tonight, you don't have to change anything. You don't have to fix anything. You don't have to solve anything. Instead, you can simply allow yourself to become curious. Curious about the stories you tell yourself. Curious about the meanings you've carried. Curious about what other possibilities may exist. And curiosity is such a wonderful state because curiosity requires no pressure, no effort, no certainty, only openness. And openness creates space, and space creates possibility. Now imagine a long table appearing beside the projector, an editing table, ancient, beautiful, smooth from years of use, and spread across the table are countless reels of film. Not all of them, only the ones your unconscious mind wishes to explore tonight. No need to choose, no need to think. your unconscious already knows, and perhaps one reel gently rolls forward, not demanding attention, simply inviting awareness, a memory, an experience, a story. And as you notice it, you realize something remarkable. You are not inside the film. You are the observer. You are sitting safely in the projection room, watching, learning, understanding. And because you are the observer, you can see things differently. You can notice things you once overlooked. And you can discover perspectives that were previously hidden. And perhaps, without effort, without forcing, your unconscious mind begins adjusting the frame, widening the lens, expanding the view, revealing information that was always present, yet somehow unnoticed. New understanding, new context, new wisdom, quietly emerging, naturally emerging, effortlessly emerging. And as this happens, you may notice something else. There are old conclusions that no longer need to be carried, not because they were wrong, but because they are no longer necessary. Old labels, old assumptions, old meanings, like pieces of film that once served a purpose, yet now are ready to be released, ready to be cut away, ready to drift gently into the past, allowing something more useful to take their place. And your unconscious mind knows exactly how to do this. The same way a master editor removes what no longer serves the story. The same way a gardener prunes what no longer supports growth. The same way autumn leaves release leaves they no longer need. Naturally, effortlessly, at the perfect time. And perhaps tonight, some old meaning can begin loosening, not disappearing all at once, just loosening, becoming lighter, becoming less rigid, creating room for something new, something wiser, something more compassionate, something more true. And as the projector continues to gently hum, imagine a golden light beginning to flow through the machine, moving through gears, moving through reels, moving through every frame, a light of understanding, a light of compassion, a light of possibility. And wherever this light touches, perspective expands, judgment softens, awareness deepens, and perhaps you begin realizing you are not the worst thing that ever happened to you. You are not your mistakes. You are not your disappointments. You are not your fears. You are not the labels others place upon you. You are the awareness watching the story, the consciousness observing the film, the presence beyond every screen, the editor, the witness, the light itself. And as that realization settles deeper, you may find yourself drifting further inward, further into comfort, further into peace, further into trust. allowing your unconscious mind to continue whatever learning is most useful, whether healing is most appropriate, whatever framing is most beneficial, in ways known and unknown, expected and unexpected, for your highest good at exactly the right pace and exactly the right way. And so for the next few moments, simply rest, allowing the projector to hum, allowing the reels to turn, allowing the unconscious mind to continue its quiet work, cutting what no longer serves, splicing in new understanding, reframing old experiences, strengthening wisdom, expanding possibility. And as this process continues, you may drift even deeper into comfort, into stillness, into the peaceful knowing that every story can reveal new meaning, every frame can hold new wisdom, every moment can become the beginning of a beautiful new edit. As the projector hums softly and your mind continues learning far beyond the limits of conscious awareness, frame by frame, breath by breath, moment by moment, deeper and deeper still.
Carried reels of yesterday, dust-covered scenes that never changed. Every morning the projector rolled the same old story I had told. A voice from long ago would play and pull me back into the frame. I thought the picture was the truth, I thought the wound became my name, but hidden in the spaces between were moments I had never seen. So I learned to edit the light, not erase the darkest night, not pretend the pain was gone, but find the strength that carried on. Frame by frame I came to see the story wasn't happening to me. The ending changed when I changed sight and learned how to edit the light. There were scenes I'd cut away, the times I stood, the times I stayed, the courage buried underneath, the quiet victories beneath defeat. And every memory had a song, a soundtrack I had played too long. Whispers saying you'll never heal, echoes I mistook for real. Then I turned the volume down, heard a different kind of sound. So I learned to edit the light, not erase the darkest night, not pretend the pain was gone, but find the strength that carried on. Frame by frame I came to see the story wasn't happening to me. The ending changed when I changed sight and learned how to edit the light. Maybe every scar's a splice, every loss a change in life. Maybe every broken scene isn't what it first may seem. Maybe fear was never proof, maybe pain concealed the truth. Maybe all the years I spent confined were just one version in my mind. I am not the worst scene I've lived, I am not the labels I was given. I am more than every ending, more than every moment bending. The film remains, but now I know the meaning changes as I grow. now I can edit the light, turn wisdom from the longest night. Every chapter has its place, every shadow shade my grace. Frame by frame the picture clears, through all the joy and all the tears. The story shines with something bright when I remember to edit the light. And somewhere deep inside my mind, the reels are turning all the time, not changing what was left behind, just teaching me how to edit the light.
So here are the key meanings of the story. Number 1, the event is not the meaning. One of the deepest messages of story is that what happened to us and what we decided it meant are often two different things. The projector represents the mind's ability to assign meaning to the experiences. While we cannot always change the events of our lives, we can change the interpretation we carry forward. Number 2, the memory is an edited film, not a perfect recording. The story illustrates that memories are not stored like object videos. They are reconstructed, edited, and replaced through perception. What we remember is often influenced by our beliefs, emotions, and expectations. This means our internal movie can be revised and understood differently. Number 3, reframing creates emotional freedom. The central metaphor of cutting and splicing film represents reframing. When we place an experience into a larger context, we often discover new meanings, new lessons, and new possibilities. The event remains the same, but our relationship to it changes. Number 4, pain often comes from the story about the event. The story suggests that suffering is frequently amplified by the conclusion we make. Thoughts such as, I'm not good enough, I'm broken, or I'll never recover, become part of the soundtrack replaying beneath our memories. Changing that soundtrack can dramatically change how we feel. Number 5, deleted scenes contain hidden resources. Just as the projector reveals forgotten moments, we often overlook evidence of our strength, courage, resilience, and growth. The mind naturally focuses on pain, but healing often begins when we rediscover the parts of our story that demonstrates our capacity to survive and thrive. Number 6, the perspective changes everything. Many NLP concepts appear through editing process. By changing the distance, focus, brightness, or frame around the experience, we can access perspectives that we previously were unable to. The story teaches that perspective is not merely a way of seeing, it's a way of feeling. Number 7, other people's behavior often reflects their own pain. When Owen sees his father's fear and stress behind the criticism, he realizes that much of what hurt him was never actually about him. This theme encourages compassion and understanding by recognizing that people often act from their own unresolved wounds. Number 8, identity is a story we continuously edit. The reel labeled identity reveals that many people mistake a collection of experiences for who they truly are. The story reminds us that we are not defined by our failures, losses, or painful moments. Identity can be rewritten as we choose new meanings and recognize more of our whole story. Number 9, healing is not about erasing the past. Lydia's final teaching emphasizes that healing is not deletion. Every frame belongs, every experience has value. Growth comes from integrating the past rather than pretending it never happened. Wisdom emerges when we stop fighting our story and start understanding it. And number 10, you are the editor.
not just the character. Perhaps the deepest meaning of all is that you are more than the person living inside the film. You are also the one observing it. The projector symbolizes the awareness within you that you can step back, reflect, choose new perspectives, and create new meanings. True transformation begins when you realize you have more influence over your inner story than you once believed. So before we go tonight, take a moment and ask yourself, what story have you been replaying? Not what happened, but the meaning you've been giving it, because somewhere inside your mind, the projector is still humming, the reels are still turning, and perhaps, even now, a new edit is already beginning, a gentler edit, a wiser edit, an edit that allows you to see strength where you once saw weakness, growth where you once saw failure, and possibility where you once saw ending. Remember, you are not trapped inside the film. You are not limited by a single scene. You are not defined by one difficult chapter. You are the awareness watching the story unfold. You are the editor. You are the one who can choose a different frame, a different soundtrack, a different meaning, and sometimes that changes everything. If this story resonated with you, and you like more hypnotic stories designed to help you reframe your life, heal old wounds, and discover new possibilities within yourself, please be sure to subscribe. And if there's a specific challenge, struggle, or transformation you like to explore through a personalized hypnotic story created just for you, you can reach out at rhonda's@gmail.com. Until next time, be gentle with your story, be patient with your edits, and remember, the most powerful scenes of your life may not be the ones that already happened. They may be the ones you're learning to see differently. So good night and sleep well, and let the projector of your unconscious mind continue its beautiful work, frame by frame, breath by breath, dream by dream.